we all need to be alarmed about the spread of disinformation. This is a movement that wants to separate people from the facts because it makes them easier to control. So, in Money, Lies, and God, I focus on a number of disinformation operations, including Reawaken America. You know what that is for anybody who doesn't. It's a traveling MAGA pro-conspiracist roadshow. And, they draw thousands of Americans to gatherings at mega churches around the country. And every conspiracist is there. I mean, every sort of conspiracy theory is, you can hear every conspiracy on the ground, the sort of Great Replacement, CRT, DEI, the Illuminati. They are trying to control your money and every cent that you own. They are, the conspiracies are so crazy that, I had to write out a lot of what I heard, and it's in the chapter, and it's actually kind of a fun chapter if you sort of have a slightly sick sense of humor, because it's so absurd. The conspiracies are absolutely over the top. I met people who thought that the vaccine microchips you, and people are saying to one another, like, don't let them microchip you. And I told one fellow that I'd been vaccinated and I was fine, and he sort of edged away from me because he thought I was shedding some kind of toxin or something like this. But here's the thing. The one conspiracy they all were promoting is the lie that the 2020 election was stolen. That Donald Trump's the rightful president, that spiritual, battles in the spiritual realm are being played out every single day in the political realm, and the hand of God has fallen on Donald Trump's shoulder, and he is, the savior of the world, and he's battling the black hats and, all of this stuff. But this kind of conspiracism has been spread not just in these spaces, but through a range of media, through Telegram, and some of it's gone through now Twitter. A lot of it's gone through the YouTube channels that a lot of these folks, I think a lot of folks outside the movement aren't really aware of this information sphere. Then you see it on the news channels like Fox, or you might see it on expressed on like Newsmax. And then we're also seeing it played out in America's faith-based spaces, in churches. So I also, in the book, describe how I go to a gathering organized by a sort of network called Faith Wins. It's funded, again, by multi-millionaires, and they send speakers around to pastor gatherings around the country. They give them, tell them it's their biblical duty to turn out their congregations to vote. But then they featured an elections integrity specialist with them, this guy named Hogan Gidley, who was saying, dead people are voting, and they stole the last election. And the amazing thing is, he said, "Oh, you saw what happened in Arizona, didn't you?" This was after a Republican-led group, they called themselves the Cyber Ninjas, were determined to find election fraud and election interference. And they went over every little record they could, and they really tried to find it, and they couldn't. At the end of the day, they said, we didn't come up with anything. And in fact, Joe Biden got a couple dozen more votes than we thought he did. But yet, this sort of idea that we can weaponize this election fraud was so valuable that it's still being promoted in these kinds of churches. And I remember there was one pastor as part of the presentations. He said, the church is not a cruise ship. The church is a battleship. Idea is that we are, going to political battle. I think it's hard for people. It's the weaponization of faith.